Alright, and hello everybody. I am back yet again with another episode of Shapes.io. So today we are going to be continuing right where we left off in the last one. I want to go ahead and finish with this shape right here. We went ahead and started making everything that we needed for it, so I just need to do some combining and then we'll go from there. So hopefully again everyone is doing well. I'm recording this episode right after the last one. I did a little bit of messing around with audio stuff, so I'm hoping I sound maybe a little bit better than I have in the past. If anyone happens to feel that I do actually sound better, I would really appreciate some feedback and be able to go from there. Because obviously for something that's stream of consciousness based, the most important part is having people be able to hear you. And obviously if you can hear me then, and I sound good without, with minimal issues, then the better I can make my content in the future. So with that said, let's go ahead and start with our fun work that we got ahead of us. So like I said, I just am recording this after the last one that I recorded. So I at least know what I'm doing today, as opposed to, other times where I'm like, I kind of remember where we left off, but I need to make sure that things are okay before I just kind of hop back into it and mess things up. Because obviously, especially since there's just a lot of planning and such involved, the last thing I want to do is take my time to get used to it and then mess things up. Or not do what we originally intended in previous episodes, so on and so forth. But right now, I believe this is all pretty straightforward with what I need to do. And we just go ahead and take you like that, you like that, and there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Cool. So those work at 2.5 roughly. So we've got that going. We got green boys being made over here. We got plenty of space right here to combine those. And then all I'll have to do is belt it on upwards and combine them with our other shape. But yeah, so I'm honestly really excited for how things are going to go with this game. I think sometime soon we should be seeing the update for wires. And if that's the case, I'm genuinely excited because that'll open up some even more possibilities that we didn't have before. There we go. So we got you going on, and all we gotta do is just bring you on over. This comes up here. Boom, boom, and boom. And I also have this lined up right, so I can just go ahead and actually combine them right here. So we just do our song and dance that we have been doing. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take the smart way. There you go. And now all I gotta do is bring it on up over there, I believe, because that's where we should be producing the, yep, that shape right there. So honestly, I think I might just try and put it into the center part over there. So let's go ahead and get started. And let's go ahead and at least bring this over just a little bit more. There we go. That way that'll give us plenty of space. Although we shouldn't have to worry too much about it, but that'll be fine. So that'll go like that, and we get, there you go. You can start coming out like that. We'll bring you down. And let me make sure that we're not just every now and then we're getting the wrong shape, so I need to see why that's happening. Because oh, I think I know why. I don't need to split these because I'm just rotating them. So we can actually just get rid of all of these because there's no reason to split if we're just producing, you know, producing the ones that go together like in the right space. See, it's always the simple things that seem to get me in games like this. I like make all these plans, I do all sorts of stuff, and then I'm like, oh wait, I did something really dumb, and then next thing you know, it's a simple fix. You know, it's just like math back in school, where it's like, genuinely, like, I love math, I enjoy it a lot, and I know a lot of people that don't enjoy it, but it's just something that like makes sense to me and just works with my brain properly. But okay, so it looks like that's good. But yes, you know, it was like I love math, I enjoy it a lot, and I consider myself good at it. I haven't had to do too much in a while, but since a lot of my stuff's not really focused around that. However, it was like it still helps out in a programming sense, and you know, the more skills that you have that can carry over, the better. Just because it makes work in the future much easier. So, you know, it was like I think one of my favorite projects that I did was I did some work on procedural generation and using that to make a grid-based like level layout, and you know, it was like randomizing like room setups for like an RPG style game. It's just a lot of fun. It's really cool to have an experience like that and, you know, do something really interesting. That, you know, like, especially since it was a school project, not as many people would have kind of splurged for the extra work on that end. Just because, you know, procedural generation takes a lot of work, takes a lot of kind of tweaking things around, making sure that you're actually like doing stuff right, and then also takes a lot of work for balancing. And so, you know, from my perspective, it's like, oh, this is just a school assignment. It's not like in place for an actual game, but the important part of it was that I put a lot of effort into it, and I at least tried. Which, it makes it interesting being in a program based around game design, because, you know, you run into a lot of people that want to work in the industry, you work or with a lot of people that want to be in the industry as well, and you kind of understand a little bit more about certain issues that happen to pop up, because a lot of the times, you know, especially the younger you are, the more likely you're going to want to try and take shortcuts and, you know, make things easier. And sometimes it takes a certain level of experience to be like, hey, I have to walk before I can run. And I've witnessed a lot of people, you know, pretend that they know more than professors that have worked in the industry directing large teams for a good bit of years, try and, you know, flex on them and make themselves look like they're better than the teacher, when it really just kind of comes off as being pompous and doesn't work the way that a lot of people think. But people still kind of keep doing it because they want to show off how like great they are and all sorts of stuff like that. And that's just kind of like a negative attitude that is seen too much. People deserve to, be proud of their abilities, but not use that to try and bring down other people that, one, don't deserve it, and two, know a lot more of what they're talking about. Because obviously, like I said, like my program directly works with industry professionals that know what they're doing and know what kind of work it takes to make it in the industry. And when you just kind of ignore that and try to make yourself, like I said, just seem better than even somebody who has put the time in, you just kind of isolate yourself. And it's sad to see, because there's so much more that could be done, that you could spend your time just working on other things, and like getting to where you want to be. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because I think our big issue is that this is slowing down because of the rotation, because it's only able to rotate 16 items a second, but we can support 20, so we're not accounting for that. But obviously it's just for our copy and paste shape, which we have plenty of. And am I still making wrong ones, or let's see. Time to do the fun watching part of this. Well, of course, actually, that's just moving too fast to really be able to see, but I think I just didn't clear it out enough, because you'll see that all of these are kind of, I was like, they should all just look the same at this point. Actually, I should be able to see produced. So yes, I mean, that's gone down to 0. So I'm assuming probably it started a little bit and then kind of just teetered off while I was talking for that last bit, but now we should be making fully those. And then what you can see over here, that's still saying 6 a minute, but I don't know where it's getting that from, if they're no longer being produced, but it may just take a second for things to update. But say, as you see, now we're making 1,000 of both of those shapes. That's all going well. And actually, this is staying saturated faster than it can be used, which is pretty nice. And then, this is all going to go straight back into the base. Looks like that might be slowing it down a little bit, though, which is weird. Oh, so maybe we're not able to keep this saturated. No, it's saturated just fine. None of these are backed up though, so what if we just, made one more? Go ahead and do that. And we need to hook that up. And I always forget, because we can actually look through here. So we're producing 1.9 thousand a minute, so we need that roughly so we can make both of those. So obviously the faster those are being made, the better. And then we can come up here. Okay, I do think that that might have actually helped, but we will have to just wait and see. So I'm not really seeing any gaps here anymore, which is good. And it's making it all the way down, so all of them are producing. Obviously these are producing faster, but again, only so much that can really be done. But cool. So now that that seems to kind of normalized, which definitely not going to complain if they're both around 1,000-ish. Obviously this one had a little bit of a dip, but that's okay. Let's see if we can go ahead and get started on our next step. Alright, so all that's left right now is to work on purple pinwheel, white circle, and then another purple pinwheel. So this, I think, is gonna be probably the more annoying one, because we're gonna have to do some splitting to actually make our full pinwheel shape, and we're gonna have to do that twice because we need 2 sets of the pinwheel shapes to keep making what we need. And then we're probably gonna have to do it again because I'm willing to bet that this shape's gonna end up, well no, this is actually only 2 layers, so we'll see. But normally they like to throw this shape onto the end of the, or on top of a new shape for the final tier. But let's see. So I want to find something that's got pinwheel, and we've got a couple sources of pinwheels, and we've got circles nearish by. Maybe there's something better over here. But you know what? Let's actually go ahead and get started on over here. So I'm going to pin this shape. We can stop having that one pinned. We're going to take this, copy the key, and we're going to go ahead and get started right about here. Go ahead and set that up so that way I know where I want to work. And we will go ahead and do what we've done for some of the previous shapes. We're going to put everything together, and we're going to pretty much just take these, cut them in half. Since we don't need the squares right now, we can go ahead and actually just discard them. And yeah, so we'll go from there. So first things first, we're going to take you, and I want to split. We're going to cut, and since we only need the left half, we actually do not need the 4-part cutter. And so the left half is our desired shape, so we can trash you. And I want to bring you down. And we'll go ahead and take you like that. And I think what I want to do is go down one more. We'll funnel those together, and so we'll have, I think, probably one line dedicated to just the left side, and then we'll have one line dedicated to the right side. And I think actually what I can do is, since we've figured out that we can kind of support the 2 splitters for one thing, why don't we take you? So we'll go in like that. We'll take you, and then we can come down here and we'll go ahead and do same thing over here. But we will want to rotate twice. So that way, instead of rotating after each cut, we can just rotate the beginning shapes and then go from there. So I think 1, 2, and then we turn you over like that. And instead of this, we need to trash the left side of the shape. And then we can we need a gap of one more, so we're just going to move this down. There we go. Then go like that, because we need to make sure that we have enough space to turn up and be able to actually belt it somewhere. So now we can go like that. And things are not in line like they were before. So here, let's just get rid of you. And we want to take you and rotate twice. And then we want to copy you. That way, nope. Needs to be back one more. Because I want to make sure that's in line. There we go. So now we do that with you. And I actually only need to bring it into here because we don't need the belt off yet again. But now we copy you like that. There we go. And same thing yet again, I need to trash the left side, bring this up, and there we go. And now we'll just bring you into you come out over here, bring you into you come out over here. And since they cut for a second, we only need 5 cutters. So there we go. Need to make sure that that's connected up. There we go. So we just need to do one more of both. And make sure you're hooked up. And there we go. And then make sure you're hooked up. And now that we've got that going on, we'll go ahead and bring these down so they can then be combined. And then all we have to do is dye them purple. And I think we might have enough space to probably work just right here. So not too far away. You go in like that, you go in like that, and then we just merge. And there we go. So now we've got our cool shapes going on. This comes on over here. And we'll go ahead and get our stacker in the way. This comes out over here. That goes out over there. And now we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Because right there, 2.6, which is roughly 2.5, and then we've got plenty of that. And now all we gotta do is make you purple. Which will not be the worst, because we got at least blue nearby, but I just don't want to have to belt it all the way around. But sometimes that's just what you have to deal with when, you know, you're building something. You just have to work with the resources you have as opposed to what you would like to have. Cool. So we'll go up and then around. And then we'll come back on down. And then we can work from there. And now we just grab some red for ourselves. That should be more than enough. Although I'm gonna probably have to make a second supply line. So we'll go ahead and take you like that. You come over here. There you go. We'll go ahead and connect those up right quick, so that way we don't have to do it later. Now we got plenty of blue and red coming by. And now all we gotta do is combine. And as normal, we just do that. And we can go ahead and belt this on down over here. And let's actually see how much space this takes up, because we're going to need yet another 8 of these set up. So if we're lucky, we might be able to belt it right into a setup over here, and then, you know, totally be fine. But let's see. And let's just double check right quick to see how these are going. So yeah, so this is still 800, but 800 is still pretty good. And it seems to be fluctuating, so we'll go ahead and just leave that for right now. That'll at least still give us time to work on whatever tasks we've got ahead of us. So take you, you go like that, you go like that. And there it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Alright, so instead of doing it just feeding into here, I'm just going to bring it down 1, and then we can bring this down and around, and we'll all be good. So go ahead and keep up with this. And I will say that is another thing about games like this for me, is that it's very easy to just, you know, kind of zone out and just play for a bit. There's just so much stuff you can be doing at any given time, and, you know, a lot of opportunity to just enjoy. And at the end of the day, that's why I want to work on my own games in the future. Because one, being able to study them is a lot of fun, and being able to understand the thought processes that go into making certain decisions, that go into design in general, is just something I've always enjoyed in the first place. But, you know, as time's gone on, as I've gotten to learn more about games and study them in a more traditional school setting, there's been a lot of opportunity to kind of reflect in there's been a lot of opportunity to end up reflecting on how things work and what I actually want to do when I start designing my own. So for example, I actually, instead of doing the normal painting setup, I'm going to copy the thicker setup. So we should do that, and then come back on over yonder, and take you, and there we go. Oops, that's not what I want though. I want you into there, and then you like that. There we go. Cool. So now that we've got a good bit of headway on our shape right here, obviously I'm going to need to do this system twice, at least just to kind of keep following with how I've been doing things, and then we can start making stuff from there. But let's go ahead and save, stop, and cut the video there. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like down below. If you want to see when I release content in the future, go ahead and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, anything like that you want to direct towards me. I would like to engage more, and thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.